So, Bridget, you are the founder of Parents in Biz magazine.
Yeah.
So what I would love to know, because I think that obviously it's a really, you've been going for a while now, but it's a really timely thing. I think lots of people are thinking about online magazines these days, or online everything. So what was your inspiration? Where did the idea come from to set the magazine up in the first place?
The idea was, I was just, because I'm a big fan of like magazines such as Psychologies and Psychology Magazine and all the rest of it. And I was like browsing through magazines and I thought, oh, there's no magazine for parents who are running a business. And it sort of like just popped into my mind. And then it was there for a few weeks. And I thought, do you know what? This could actually be a thing. So I started to do some research because I don't come from an editorial background at all. No. I didn't even pass English in secondary school. So, and they've said I'm dyslexic. So it's really not like my thing, sort of thing. So I said, okay, let me research into the idea. And I started to explore the idea and I saw more and more that it could actually work, that it would be something where parents who are running businesses, freelancing, self-employed, could have a place where they could be featured, they could contribute, they could advertise to the wider audience that are actually parents who are running businesses. So I thought, okay, well, I don't know if the paid option, people would pay for the magazine. So I decided to self-fund it for the first year and just put like a donation button on the actual page. And then I just approached people who I would like to be in the first issues. I did, encounter a few stumbling blocks, and then that was it. It was there.
So what's your business model now? How do you sustain the magazine financially now?
So now the magazine is quarterly. It's always been a quarterly magazine. I don't think I could manage anything more than quarterly. So how it's managed now, it's pay to read online, and people can, because what happened was people wanted printed copies. So it's pay to get a printed copy as well. And I try to keep it as affordable as possible, where there's also, some way of making money out of it as well.
So I think it's really interesting that this wasn't your background at all, but you saw this idea, you saw this gap in the market and you went for it. So what were the first steps? Did you have to do a lot of research into how you could make it happen and bring it to life?
Yeah, I had to do a lot of research. Is that my audio? Yeah. So I had to do a lot of research in terms of like what platforms could I put it on? Because there's quite a few platforms out there. Who would I get to design it? Because that's not my strong point, designing. Who would I get to contribute, who'd be a contributor, who could I interview? So the first one was really a lot of research had to go into that issue. And it just kind of like just happened, and then it just sort of like took off from there. And then, we're 2 years old now.
Congratulations, that's amazing. And do the majority of your readers read online or get the printed version?
Okay. A majority actually read it online. It's actually a global audience as well, because that's one thing that I found that was quite shocking when I went into the back and looked at the statistics and saw the different places where the magazine was read. I was like, oh my gosh, wow. It's not just UK. UK obviously is number one, but like the USA, India, the Philippines, it's like all over.
Wow.
Different readers all over the place. So that was something I found quite really, really interesting actually, because I just didn't kind of like anticipate that as well.
And is that something that you've kind of capitalized on? Do you try and attract a global audience now?
Yeah, I do, because when I do like, Facebook advertising and Instagram advertising, I do different advertising for different areas around the world, especially those areas where they're in the top 5 or the top 10 readers of the magazine, because what that's kind of indicating to me is that there's a lot of parents who are probably, got that entrepreneurial spirit in those areas who would be interested in what I'm actually doing and what I'm offering.
Brilliant. Love it. So how long did it take you? Because I think when you're starting something new, particularly if it's not in an area that you've got experience in, it takes you a while to feel confident, doesn't it, in what you're doing?
Yes. So with the first issue, it was actually emailing people. And because Parents in Biz was fairly new, I didn't know much people like how I kind of like widened my circle now. So it was like sending them that kind of cold email, like, hey, I want to do a magazine and I'd like you to contribute. Do you know what I mean? So that was a bit like, that was daunting because I was very scared of people saying no. Do you know what I mean? No, I don't want that sort of thing. So that was very daunting for me because I don't.
And then what sort of response did you get at the beginning?
For the contributors, everybody said yes straight away. So I was really, really grateful for that. And then in terms of like parents to be interviewed, the person who was meant to be on the cover, I had a few people who were meant to be on the cover for the first issue, and that kind of all fell through. So I ended up with a stock image on the first issue, which I didn't want to do because I was just like, please, I don't want to have a stock image. And then I ended up with a stock image for the first issue. But, you know, it's lessons learned, isn't it?
Exactly. And it's that phrase, what is it? Prolific, not perfect, isn't it? Just get it out there.
Yeah.
Because you could just that issue, couldn't you? But you decided just to go ahead. Yeah, great. Yeah. So that was obviously a bit of a low, I'd imagine. Have there been any other kind of highs and lows on your journey of setting up the magazine?
Highs. I think highs were when I first did the first issue, which I can't remember which issue was that, but that was after a year where I did the paid model. I was very scared because obviously when you've offered something free, people kind of expect it to be free, and they've got kind of used to expecting it every quarter for free sort of thing. So that was very scary because it was like, okay, the survival of it does depend on if people pay to read the magazine, because at that stage, even now, I'm struggling still. The struggles is getting advertisers on board. So even then it was like, oh, you know, are people going to pay? And then when people actually paid online and paid to get printed copies, I was like, okay, yeah, that for me showed me that it was actually viable and it's actually needed and people actually appreciate. Because a lot of hard work goes into the magazine. Every issue is just like, oh my gosh, it's hard work. And there's so much back and forth with me and my graphic designer on the layouts and stuff like that, and proof checking and stuff like that. So yeah.
And in terms of your advertisers, who would be your dream? Who would you love to place an ad in Parents In Biz?
Well, I've approached because first I approached people to advertise in the magazine. So I've approached like banks, and I've had them come back and say things like, yeah, love the magazine, but actually we love your website more. We'd like to have a banner on your website. And that's not kind of like, that's not what's on offer, because I don't want parents to be coming to the website and they're bombarded with advertisement like sign up to this bank or sign up to this or get this credit card. That's not what I'm about. So I just had to politely turn them down. But at the moment, the advertisers are more other business owners, parents who are business owners that want to get to that wider audience, accountants, got an accountancy firm who regularly advertise in the magazine in every actual issue. So it really does vary. And then I'll advertise, courses or workshops that I'm actually running on the actual platform in the magazine as well.
Brilliant. I think that's really important what you said there about sticking to your vision, and that people don't be bombarded with ads, and you haven't just gone for the kind of quick option of a quick injection of cash there.
No.
So you're talking about courses and workshops. What's next for you?
Well, what's next is I've been working on the Parents In Biz Hub. It's an online membership community, and I've been working on that for a long time now. I'd say probably a year and a half, perhaps. And what that is it's an online hub where parents can come and get access to experts, masterclasses, workshops, training, to support them, and also a community of parents that will support them as well during their journey. Because when you're a parent and you're surrounded by parents who kind of like get you and understand your struggles, because your struggles are totally different for those single people. Like me and my sister's in business, and her struggles compared to mine are just totally different. You know, it's nice, and it's like you feel supported and you feel like you're not alone, and that's what the hub is all about. So I'll be launching that at the end of October, early November. So it's just putting all the technical pieces together for that as well.
Amazing. Well, be sure to share the details inside the group so that any parents in here can find out. And what about choosing? How do you talked about approaching people to feature in the magazine? Who are you looking for? How do you choose them?
Well, at the moment, I sort of like I'd say for every issue I maybe choose one or two parents that I've actually seen on you know, it's most likely Instagram, and I've seen what they're doing, and then I'll approach them, or I might have even seen them in groups and I love what they're doing and I approach them. But at the moment, in terms of interviews and small business features, that is kind of like I've got a waiting list, because so many parents want to be interviewed and be featured in the small business spotlight as well. So I kind of like try to some issues I try and do more pages so I can fit more parents in, more interviews in, I should say. But yeah, I welcome contributors, people to contribute to the magazine. It's just sending me an email really, and just saying what you're about and what you would like, what kind of article you'd like to contribute, or if it is an interview you'd like to be, you know, featured in, is just sending that email. And I get approached by PR agencies, people, you know, cold, you know, just email me as well to say I would like to be featured, and then I just try and fit them in somewhere in next year's schedule.
That's great. So you are a busy lady, because as well as your business, you're a parent in biz. You're a mum of 5, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I've got 5 children. Well, I'll say 3 adults, because the 3 older ones are big. So I've got like a 27-year-old, a 25-year-old, and a 22-year-old, and a 17-year-old, and a soon-to-be 10-year-old. So yes, it's busy. But the older ones are on the stages of moving out. My son moved out, and then my daughter's on her way moving out, one of my older daughters. So yeah.
Time to celebrate.
Yes, it is. I think lockdown was kind of like, you know, we had a good time. We bonded over lockdown, but I think everybody working from home, because they also work, and the younger ones homeschooling was a lot. So I feel okay, I need my own space now. So yeah.
I bet. So what, if you had to give a piece of advice or maybe how to avoid a mistake that you've made along the way to any of the female founders watching, can you think of one tip or piece of advice that you'd like to share?
In terms of the magazine, I would say just research, really research, check out other magazines that are similar to the magazine you want to do. Research and work with people who you can trust. Like my graphic designer, I can put all faith in her, and I just know she's going to deliver, sort of thing, because she does time and time again, and I can't imagine changing her for anybody else, sort of thing, because we've got such a good working relationship. And also, I'll tell you another mistake I actually made was, I didn't know, because I'm not from an editorial background. I had everything on like a Excel spreadsheet, how the pages were going to go. And in the magazine world, the publishing world, they use flat plans, I should say. So it was like, when I got to issue 2, that's when I realized, I'm meant to be using a flat plan, and it makes it so much easier. So
you don't know what you don't know, do you?
Yeah, you don't know. So it's really like just researching, and then just be in the fear and just go with it, man. Because sometimes you've got that gut feeling that you know something will work and that people will want it, and you kind of hold back, and it's that fear that holds you back. And it's just go for it.
Love that. Words to live by.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bridget. I've loved hearing about your journey, and I'm sure that people watching have enjoyed a little peek behind the scenes of creating a magazine. It's certainly nothing I've ever done, and it just feels like a mammoth task, but you've created something amazing, clearly. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. And if anyone's got any questions, just drop me a line. And if you're interested in contributing or being interviewed, just send me an email.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you, Bridget.
Okay, thanks. Okay, then bye. Bye.